Jack Ma came from nothing and built Alibaba into a 250 billion giant. In 1999, Jack Ma started his first company, a translation agency, and soon found himself on a trip to the United States for work. But things didn't go as planned. The American company he was working with turned out to be a fraud, and Jack was kidnapped and held hostage in a hotel in Las Vegas. Eventually, Jack escaped from the hotel and traveled north. Having friends in Seattle, Jack met up with someone he could trust. It turned out his friend loved using the internet. In 1994 China, the internet wasn't for public use. Jack was instantly hooked. Amazed by the internet's potential, Jack worked with a Seattle-based consultancy to make a website for his translation agency. In days, Jack's translation business was booming with requests from companies. Seeing the impact, Jack wanted to bring the internet to other Chinese businesses. Jack returned back home and started China Pages to help get businesses online. He didn't know, but the first version of the American online bookstore was being developed from down the street in Seattle where he had visited. After launching China Pages, Jack faced competition in the market. While the Chinese government watched them closely, Jack didn't realize that the government had a site in development now ready to launch. With the news, some of his partners left him, and the company even fell into debt. But Jack didn't quit. To stay in business, he sold China Pages to the government. As part of the deal's terms, he stayed on the team's leadership. But soon after the acquisition, Jack started to disagree with the bureaucracy. Meanwhile, a Silicon Valley-based entrepreneur from China was thriving. In 1997, Jack met Jerry Yang, the co-founder of Yahoo, and was greatly inspired by his success. Yang was born in Taiwan and understood China's internet and business landscape. After the discussion, Jack realized that his vision for China Pages would need to be standalone, not from within the government's company. Jack had to make a hard choice: give up or start over. And he chose to start over.
想打架呀？
对。
He founded Alibaba with 18 people, including his wife, in a small apartment. And from the start, it was very hard. The company was tight on money. In 1999, Jack met Joe Tsai, a private equity investor based in Hong Kong. Joe's background was in investment banking, and Jack immediately saw his potential as a CFO and co-founder. In a meeting, Jack shared stories of small merchants in China who couldn't scale their businesses due to geography. He told Joe that Alibaba was the future of commerce. The opportunity Jack emphasized wasn't financial. It was about making lives easier. It was a hard decision for Joe. He was successful, and Alibaba's $600 a year salary offer was pocket change compared to a $700,000 a year salary. Joe decided to join Alibaba as CFO and co-founder. Right away, he knew Goldman Sachs in Hong Kong may be interested in investing in Alibaba. Initially, Goldman offered $5 million for a majority stake, but there wasn't a business model yet. Alibaba needed cash for operations. After some persuasion, Goldman Sachs agreed to a $5 million investment for a 50% stake in Alibaba. With the cash, Jack gained confidence. He didn't want to follow the same model as American marketplaces like eBay, which charged a fee for every transaction. In China, transaction fees weren't common. Instead, they came up with a different idea. Alibaba would charge companies for premium advertising on the site. It was unique, but it worked. Companies were willing to pay for ads on Alibaba's website because it helped them reach millions of potential customers. Alibaba's site became the platform to find customers, and they made money from optional paid ads, not transaction fees. In 2003, eBay entered the Chinese market by acquiring EachNet, an Alibaba competitor. The EachNet strategy was business to consumer, not business to business like Alibaba's was at the time. But Alibaba was worried about eBay's long-term goals, so they started developing a new product called Taobao to focus on the business to consumer market in China. At Goldman Sachs, the eBay investment in EachNet brought extreme paranoia. Soon after, Goldman Sachs sold its entire Alibaba investment for about $20 million, one of their worst investment decisions of all time. Goldman missed out on billions in returns out of fear. Taobao quietly launched with a team of 7 people and gained popularity over eBay's EachNet. In an unexpected turn, eBay acquisition ended up imploding the company from the inside. Managing a Chinese-based company from the United States turned out to be harder than eBay had imagined. With the success of Taobao, Alibaba invested in cloud computing, payments, B2B and B2C commerce with Tmall and AliExpress. The Alibaba group continued to be successful. Tmall and AliExpress have gone on to become 2 of the biggest e-commerce sites in the world. Alibaba's cloud services have become the AWS of Asia, Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. And Alipay, it became China's largest fintech platform. In 2014, Alibaba had an initial public offering on the New York Stock Exchange. The Alibaba Group raised $25 billion, giving them a market value of $230 billion. At the time, the largest IPO in world history.